Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is me, Joe Jones, in the flesh. That's right. It's been a long time since I've been on here, but I am back as of tonight. I know a lot of y'all have reached out to me lately, and a lot of people have reached out to me on Messenger and Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, wondering where I've been when I was coming back. So I am back officially tonight. What's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. Yes. I am back. Happy to be back. I've been meaning to come back for a few weeks, but I've been so busy, and I've just had so much going on. I mean, so much stuff has changed in my life, and just crazy stuff has happened. So I'm glad to be back. Welcome to the Cup of Joe Show, y'all. For those of you who are new to this channel, this is your first time seeing me live. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm excited that you're here. I'm looking forward to the chance tonight to get to talk to you one-on-one. This is exciting to be back. I'm telling y'all, I'm just so excited to be back. I'm glad that you're glad to hear my voice again. Yes. Glad to see you. This is awesome. But I can't stress that enough. I'm very excited to be back. Like I said, a lot of stuff has happened. Looking forward in the next few days to get back into making videos, going live, stuff like that. There's so many topics that I want to cover. I've had a lot of people, just to put it bluntly, I've had a lot of people talking shit about me, and it's time to come back and clear the air with a lot of these people. Just a lot of stuff been going on. Lucy, Daphne, good to see you. But I don't know why. I get a lot of these comments on my videos and stuff, and they've just been really building up lately. I don't know if it's bots or who it is, what it is, but there's a few people that've been talking crap about me in person, here in Dallas, that don't know anything about me. I want to say that don't know a thing about me. Someone that is dating my ex-wife. This guy, I don't know what he's thinking, but he's super controlling, super jealous, super narcissistic, super all of the above, really. And he seems to think that I want his girl, whatever, which is not true. My ex is my ex for a reason. We've moved on. I'm now married, as many of y'all know, very happily married with my new wife, and we've been married about 6 months now, so that's going great. In case you're wondering, everything's going great. But this guy, he has a real problem with me, and he seems to be looking for me. He says he's gonna kick my ass because he works in my town that I live in. So that's fine. He wants to try that, then he could pick himself up off the floor and all that stuff. But I don't know. He made a comment about me the other day that is totally incorrect and very offensive, very, very offensive. Because again, he doesn't know I do this channel. He doesn't know what I do for black women. He doesn't know how I love black women. Just a big shit talker. And he said that I am no different than these white men from the 1800s that like to use black women, and that could not be further from the truth. That was extremely offensive to me. Again, because he's thinking that I am just one of these white guys, which, yes, there are a lot of them. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say there's not. There are many white men, and black women, be careful, watch out. There are many, many white men that do use black women, that do only want to have children with black women and leave them and not take care of their kids and, you know, all these things. That's not me. I take care of my child. I have her every single weekend, you know, but he is comparing me to one of these white men that just puts a baby in a black woman and then just leaves her. So just to clear the air, I was with my ex-wife for 14 years. Out of those 14 years, we were married for 7 of them, you know, and I mean, it doesn't even matter. This guy, you know, I let it bother me a little too much, I guess, but, you know, that's fine because y'all know me, you know, he doesn't know me, but he thinks he's going to kick my ass because he thinks I want his girl. So again, maybe he does watch my channel. So if he does, you know, hey, he knows where I am. But anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? Good to see all of y'all. Good to see everybody. Hello, hello. Hey. Hey. Good to see y'all again. It's good to be back. You know, I hope everybody's been doing fine. And you know, like I said, a lot of things have changed for me, and I've been very blessed. You know, got to go to a red carpet premiere last month for this movie I'm in. It is on Relay. Has anyone heard of Relay? It's kind of like Tubi, but I'm on Relay. If you download Relay, it's like a movie streaming app. You can see me in Ballistics. Download Relay, type in the movie Ballistics. That's my newest movie that came out. Excuse me, that I'm in. January 12th of 2026. It's just a few weeks. I've got another movie coming out that I filmed about 5 years ago. It's finally coming out. It's supposed to be on Amazon Prime and Apple TV. It is called Mr. Gates. My daughter's also in it. Justin is in it. Alicia is in it. My daughter is in one of the opening scenes, like the first 10 seconds of the movie when she was much younger, obviously. But she's in it. I play a cop. I play Officer Bates in the movie Mr. Gates. So it is set to come out on Amazon Prime and Apple TV on January 12th. Make sure you are watching for that. Go support me. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Hey. Glad to see y'all are back. Now, I've been telling people for a minute, you know, I was coming back, which I've been saying that for like 2 months or so. You know, I didn't know exactly what day I was coming back. You know, I've just had so much going on. Like I said, for the past like 2 weeks, I have really felt this calling to come back, and things just keep popping up and things just keep going wrong. And, you know, and I was like, man, I don't have time to go live tonight. I don't have time to go live tonight. I gotta work. You know, gotta work. And finally took the night off to share it with you. So I'm glad to see each and every one of you back, seeing, you know, all the comments here. So glad to see each and every one of y'all. Like Q&A sticker for weekend plans. Okay, yeah, let's try that. Oh, it wants me to answer. I don't have any plans. How do you take that off? Okay, I'm still. YouTube has kind of changed since I've been on here. It's been so long. But yeah, just so much has happened. Getting ready for a new movie. I'm actually going to be starring in my first movie. We start filming in January. It's called Get Stella, and it's going to be on Amazon Prime within 6 months after we film it, which it's probably only going to take about a month and a half to film. But I play a bad guy. So trying to get back into shape now. I kind of fell out of the gym. I got behind on my gym payments, and those rack up so quick. So got to get back in the gym. I'm all fat and ugly now, so I'm in the dark. But got to get back in the gym and trying to get back in shape for this movie role. I've only got 2 weeks to get back in shape. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be. So why is it asking that? How do you take that off? Hold on, this is in the way. I can't get this. Y'all see that? Drag to, oh, okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, cool. How's he doing? Glad to hear that. But yeah, how many people we got here? We got 11 people tonight. It's like the 68 Elvis comeback, right? Kind of what I was comparing this to tonight. I want to see who would show up and support. See some besties in the chat. What's going on, bestie? Hello, everybody. Saw your comment earlier. Sorry, I didn't get to respond to you because I was blabbing my jaws. Blah, blah, blah. But good. I'm thinking about joining something. Like I said, I'm just fat, depressed and fat. Just fat. As long as there's air to breathe. No, I don't want to say that. I'll always be fat. I'm working on it. But might work out tonight. I don't know. Might work out tonight. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, but I am. Oh, my darling, Clementine. Okay, that's kind of weird. I got somebody watching me. I see you up there. Okay. I see what you're doing. I wonder where that guy is. He's up there watching me. That's how. Huh. Creepy when you got somebody watching you. Weird. Yeah. Oh man. I got 2 phones now. I got 2 phones. One that's dying and one that ain't on. Oh, just a bottle of water. Yeah. Water right now. Yeah. Work, let's see. It's been a sad year for work. honestly. We only did maybe, I think, 3 sheds in 2025. We did 3 jobs this entire year. And I'd like to blame Mr. Cheeto Puff for that. But I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, it hadn't been good, you know, but thank God there's such a thing called DoorDash, because that's sustaining me for the most part, you know, doing the best we can here. Yeah, I call him Mr. Cheeto Puff. See, I used to be a big supporter of Mr. Cheeto Puff until I woke up. Let's call it that. I woke up and realized how retarded I was for supporting this person. And I have repented of my sins. And long ago, I was a supporter of Mr. Cheeto Puff. You know, then I started seeing a lot of bullshit, if I'm being honest with y'all. So, you know, I can't support someone who lies the way this person does, and who just has manipulated millions of people in this country. Me being one of them for so long, you know. And then something really big happened in September. And I didn't like the way that Mr. Cheeto Puff went about it, you know, because I was a big supporter of this person as well. And I said, you know what? I said, you can't be a supporter of this person and this person. I got to pick a side. And it's just a big puppet show is what I see now, you know. It's just I can't say much about it, but it's just a big game, and I was just a spectator that was being played. So I've changed so much of my views, you know. Hey Joe, I love your show. You look good as always, and don't worry about a thing, because everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. There's a song that says that. Sonia Phillips, how are you, girl? I hope you're doing fine. This is my first time getting to talk to you live. I've seen a lot of your comments on my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing to the show. Hope that you enjoy tonight. Glad to see you here. Welcome to the show. Welcome to your, I believe is your first live stream, because I haven't gone live in so long. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Used to Uber and Lyft when I quit my job. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you don't make a lot of money doing it, you know, but, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it gets you by. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Kiki, what's going on, Kiki? Hey. I need to do one soon. I need to do one. I've been thinking about it. But, you know, I'm just so nervous to sing in front of people that I've still, to this day, I've never done karaoke. Never done karaoke. I've only sang in front of 2 people my entire life in person. You know, only 2 people. I was thinking about singing tonight, but, you know, well, thank you. I was thinking about singing tonight, but, you know, I haven't sang in so long. I don't know if the vocals are there. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I didn't get a warm up, nothing. I don't know. You know, but I do want to say this. I do want to make one point very clear, if I'm being completely serious on this live because, you know, we get on here and I like to joke around. You know, I like to make a lot of jokes, play a lot, stuff like that. But I do want to make one thing very clear, that this channel right here, the Cup of Joe Show, has been and will always be about black women, for black women, and that is that. Nothing will ever change that. You know, I listened to a lot of people growing up that tried to suppress me, who I was. You know, I had good friends when I was writing my book. Many of y'all know about. If you don't know, I wrote an interracial book. You can get it on Amazon. It's called The Different Cowboy by Joe Jones. It's also on my YouTube. You don't have to spend any money. Go to my playlist and look for A Different Cowboy. I narrated my whole book. I'm an actor. I do voices. You know, I put pictures with it. It's a very entertaining book. There's parts 1 and 2. I you know, encourage you to check out both parts. I think part 2 of the book is better, but I had a really good friend at the time. I told her about my book, and she said, I don't think that's a good idea to publish that. And I said, really? I thought she would say, yeah, it's a great idea, go for it. And she said, yeah, that's a bad idea. She goes, people don't want to hear about interracial love stories. It's not going to be a good idea. It's going to rub people the wrong way. So don't ever do that. Don't publish it. Leave it as just something in your own collection for yourself. This is a black woman, and she's a little bit older. So, I mean, I respect her so much. I was kind of hurt, but I said, you know what? Okay, I won't do it. So I let it literally sit on the shelf for 3 years. And then I made up my mind one day. I said, you know what? God has given me the gift of writing. This gift of a love story that he put in my mind that I wrote down on parchment paper. I put my pen to parchment. I wrote it down. I said, I think I'm going to start typing this up in a computer and actually make a real book about this. And I did, and it was a huge hit. You know, it was a great story on YouTube. It got a lot of views. A lot of people got into it. Not a lot of books sold. It only sold 8 books, but whatever. I don't really care. What matters is that a lot of people got to see, you know, one, my acting skills, doing different voices and narrating skills. So that was cool. But more importantly, they got to hear the story that came directly from my heart, you know. And a lot of it is based on true story. My great-great-great-grandmother was a black woman. My great-great-great-grandfather was a white man. They found love in the early 1800s. And, you know, at the time that was not approved of, you know, but they fell in love with each other, married each other, and made it through life against all odds. And I wrote this book not even knowing that information until after the book was written, you know. So I do have Central African and Nigerian in my blood, is what we found out. And that's where it kind of leads back to, was, you know, my great-great-great-grandmother who was a slave. So, you know, absolutely, I will always, always, always support and love black women until my last day. And I want to get back on that because I have been told by some people, not just one person, I'm not going to say it was one person, it's been many people over the course of 8 or 9 years I've been on YouTube, to stop making videos about black women. And I've had tons of comments that have told me this too. You need to stop talking about black women. You're this, you're that, and you stop it. You know, we don't need a white savior. I've heard all of that. Look, I'm not trying to be a savior to black women. I'm just trying to be someone that stands up for black women because I see a lack thereof from other men. So I'm just trying to start a movement where we honor black women. We respect black women. We protect black women. I want a whole bunch of men to stand up and start, protecting black women. I don't see that same protection for black women as I do for white women. And keep in mind, I am a white man, okay? I grew up in a white family, in a white community, and I have seen how white women are treated, and I've also seen how black women are treated. And I see there's a huge difference in society. I want all women to be treated equally. And I don't see that happening with black women a lot of times. I see black women, I have seen them treated very wrongly. I've seen what white people have said behind closed doors, and I don't agree with. So, a lot of it is the lack of understanding. I was taught some things as a young man and a child that turned out to not be true at all when I, started dating black women. And I was just curious. I was like, hey, respectfully, I've heard this. Is this true? And they're like, no, that's not true. No, this is not true. That's not true. That's not true. And I'm like, okay, well, so, so my goal, come on, phone. All right, are we back? So here's one myth that I was taught growing up. I was told all black women, they told me that weave that black women wear in their hair, that's actually horse hair. Weave is horse hair. So white people, for you white people that believe this crap, that is not true. I am here to tell you as a white man that is incorrect. Stop spreading stupid rumors like that. That is not true. But it's just things like that, ugly things like that, that a lot of white people have spread these rumors, and it's not true. There's so many rumors that are not true. Let's see here. Please continue talking about black women. We love and appreciate you so much, Joe. Spitting straight facts. That's right. Does your father acknowledge your black ancestors? Well, my biological father, he died when he was 30 years old. He took his own life. Many of y'all know that, but I know there's a lot that don't. I don't talk about it much. So for those of you who don't know, my biological father passed away when I was 2.5 years old. So I never really got a chance to grow up and, know anything about him. So I don't know I don't think he even knew, because we recently found out like 2 years ago when his sister, which was my aunt, she had did a DNA test and she found out all this history through Ancestry.com, So, so I don't know much about my dad other than he was a great man from what the little bit that I've heard about him from his friends and stuff. But yeah, I would like to think that he would acknowledge that. From what I've heard, there was a lot of black women that really liked my dad. My mom said that black women were always attracted to my dad, and that's kind of been the case with me, which I think, that's why I say I really do think that I was born to marry a black woman. because even when I was in school, I never had white girls approach me and flirt with me or ask me out or anything like that. I think I only had one ever do that, and that was in the 4th grade. She had came up to me on Valentine's Day and brought me some chocolates, and she hands me the chocolates, and she's like, will you be my Valentine? Will you go out with me? So I'm sitting here like eating these chocolates, like looking at her, and like I'm just like eating her chocolates, and she's like smiling at me. I'm just like, and she's like, so will you be my Valentine? And I was like, no, I only date black girls. And she was so upset. Her name was Lauren, but she was so upset. She actually started crying, and yeah, I guess it's probably wrong. I ate her chocolate and then broke her heart, but I just straight up told her, like, I'm sorry. I mean, I knew at that age, like, I was born to grow up and only date black women, you know. So, but she was the only one that ever showed any interest in me, and I never had a Hispanic girl, an Asian girl, Indian girl, or another white girl after her that ever showed any interest in me. It was always black girls that came up to me, and were, very, very outgoing and outspoken to me. They would just come up to me and they're like, "You date black girls, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I didn't, I don't know what it was about me. I mean, I didn't dress a certain way, and I didn't talk a certain way. I was just me, just quiet kid that kept to myself. But people just, I mean, I've got a picture somewhere in here. I've showed my wife, and she's just like, "Yeah, you got that look." And I'm like, "What's that look?" She's like, "You got that look like you date black girls." And I'm like, yeah. So I don't know what it is, but apparently black women can tell when there's a white guy that dates black girls, that only likes black girls. And I had that look, and I'm glad I did, because I didn't want to go around breaking hearts all the time, and I just feel like that was who I was supposed to be. It's always been in my heart, What's going on, Teal? Good to see you. But it's, it's like I said, it's just always been, that's always been who I was and who I am. It's just always been that way. Just always been a G. I got this picture here. Maybe I can turn on the light and I can try to show you all this old picture. It's got some rust on it from long ago. It was like, I found it in the garage. Do I even have a camera? But found it in the garage a few weeks ago. So it's got some type of like rust or something. Let me see if I can, there we go. Oh, come on. This was me. I was probably, I don't know, 10 or 11. Yeah, look at me. Oh, yeah, dude. I was one of those kids. But apparently you could just tell by looking at me. That was me. It won't focus right if I'm close, but yeah. That little man right there. He knew at that age I was destined to grow up and find a black queen. That was me, man. Yeah. So I'm very proud of that, though. Yeah, that swag. Yeah. Thank you. But you know what? I have to agree. But that was maybe the 4th or 5th grade, and when I got to the no, when I was in the 5th grade, I asked my first crush out. Her name was Bianca. She turned me down. Um, yep. She turned me down. Then I got into middle school, and oh my God, I was in love. There were so many. I fell in love. There's this girl named Kirsten, and I wanted to date her so bad. I was so in love with her. She was the most beautiful girl I ever seen. And I sat next to her in choir. And she didn't want me, you know. And I'd talk to her friends, and I'd say, you gotta hook me up with Kirsten. And they'd be like, we're trying to, but for some reason she don't want you. And they'd be like, we want to date you. I was like, I don't want y'all, I want her. She's beautiful. Most beautiful girl I ever seen. It's kind of like that song, yeah, y'all are fine too, but I want you. But I wanted Kirsten, and she wouldn't date me. So at the end of the 6th grade, she was moving, went to another school. I was heartbroken. I didn't see her 7th grade. I didn't see her 8th grade. I didn't see her 9th grade. So let's go back. Kirsten leaves. I'm still at the same middle school. And 8th grade comes around, and this girl named Caitlin comes up to me. And I had known Caitlin since the 6th grade. But she's kind of flirting with me on the first week of school. And I'm like, huh. I had just watched Freddy vs. Jason over the summer break of 7th grade. And I really fell in love with Kelly Rowland. For those of you that have seen Freddy vs. Jason, she was in Freddy vs. Jason. Kelly Rowland was. And I already liked Destiny's Child at a young age. But when I saw her in Freddy vs. Jason, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, Kelly Rowland is freaking beautiful. I need to find a girl who looks like her. So I prayed about it, and then this Caitlin girl pops back up into my life, and she's kind of flirting with me. And I said, wow, dude, she really looks like Kelly Rowland. Yup, it's true. I said, man, she looks like Kelly Rowland, dude. And so I told my friend about her. I said, man, this Caitlin girl, I think she likes me. And he's like, no, she can't like you. She's dating this other guy. And I'm like, oh, she got a boyfriend? He's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I know him. They've been dating for like over the summer. And I'm like, oh man. And I'm like, well, just whatever, forget it. And he's like, no, it's cool. I'll tell her you like her. It's like a week passed. And he didn't say I told her anything. So I'm over here in my Spanish class, and I'm writing her a note. And I have never written a girl a note at this point, so I don't know how to write someone a note and ask them out. So I'm just writing a note like you would Santa Claus, So I write, dear Caitlin, I really think you're beautiful. I would really like to know if you would like to go out with me. I know you got a boyfriend, but maybe when you're done with him, you'll give me a chance. Whatever. I write this hardcore, awesome love note, professing my love for this girl. And before I can give it to her, thank God, the note never got, right? The note never got to her. But I had it in my pocket, and I was like, when I see her, I'm going to hand her this note in the hall. Well, I ran into my friend Tyler first, and he comes up to me, running to me all excited and stuff, and he's like, dude, have you talked to Caitlin? And I'm like, no, but I got this note I need to give her. And he's like, what's the note? I was like, I'm trying to ask her out through this note, like, I'm like 13, whatever. And he's like, there's no need to do that, dude. I talked to Caitlin for you. I'm like, you did? Well, what? She's got a boyfriend. He's like, not anymore, dude. He's like, I told her you liked her and she dumped him, dude. He's like, y'all are going out now. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you're serious? And I thought he was playing. I was like, you're not. I was like, dude, you're playing with me. I got to give her this note. I'm trying to walk off. He's like, dude, don't give her the note. He's like, I swear to God, dude, I talked to her. She said yes. Y'all are going out now. And I'm like, okay, well, I've got to find her. Like, move out of my way. I've got to find her. It's my woman. You know, so, so I'm like running through, I'm just running through the hallways looking for her. And I find her. And I'm like, are we? And she's like, yeah. She's like, you're my boyfriend. And she just grabs my hand and I'm like, oh, dude. And I'm just blown away. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful girl in the whole school. Because she looks just like Kelly Rowland, you know? And I'm just like, I am freaking out. I'm just like, wow, man, And, but anyway, that lasted about, I don't know, maybe 3 months. But I was so, what's the word? I was intimidated by her. This was really my first girlfriend, and I was just I was really shy, and she ended up breaking up with me because she said I was too shy. She was very outgoing, and I was just too shy. She wrote, and that was our thing, writing letters back and forth to each other, and I loved it, and I fell very, very deep in love with her because this is my first love. Yeah, so I fell so in love with her. We went to the skating rink on this date and all this stuff, and it was great. And she wanted me to kiss her that night. She had wrote me a note asking me if I'd ever kissed anyone, and which I hadn't. And she was like, I want to go to the skating rink, or she's like, I'm going to the skating rink this Friday night. This is where I go hang out. And she's like, maybe you could come up there and maybe we'll start smooching, is how she wrote it. And she's like, and I'll have my first kiss. And she was like, fingers crossed, this and that, whatever. And so, I was such a pansy. I'm not gonna be easy on myself. I was such a pansy. I'd call myself another word, but it's not appropriate for YouTube. But I never kissed her that entire night. We spent about 5 hours together up until midnight, and I never kissed her. I was too scared. I was too shy. I thought maybe she'd make the first move, and maybe I'll just go along with it. I didn't know about, the man's got to make the first move. I wasn't taught any of that. I was still so young. I was just turned 14, and I didn't make my move, and that was kind of why she ended up breaking up with me. She was like, just really wanted to kiss me, I guess, and I just couldn't do it. So I guess I deserved it, and I hated myself after, because she broke up with me in a note, and because that's how we communicate all the time. And this particular time when she gave me this note, she hands me this note in the hallway, and she wasn't smiling when she handed me the note. Usually she would smile and hand me a note as we were going to class, and she gives me this note and she's not smiling. And I kind of jokingly was like, what is this? Are you breaking up with me? And she just kind of gives me a look, and she's like, just read the note, Joe. I'll see you later. And I knew right there. I said, oh no. And I went in the classroom and opened the note, and she was basically like, yeah, you didn't make your move the other night, and we've been together for 3 months, and I felt like it was time that we should have already kissed, and blah blah blah, and you're just too shy, and I'm too outgoing. So I think we're on 2 different paths in life, and good luck finding the next girl, but it's over. And that sounds so innocent now, but at the time I was like, it just that was my first ever heartbreak. It just ripped my heart out of my chest, and at the time, all my friends that I had, when we started dating, like, dude, I've never seen you so happy in my life, man. And I was just like, dude, I'm so in love with this girl. I'm so happy. I've never felt like this. And so, kind of the exact opposite. When she broke up with me, my friends, at lunch and stuff, I could not force myself to smile even if I wanted to. And they're like, what's going on, dude? I've never seen you this upset. And I'm just like, dude, she broke up with me. And people couldn't believe it because everybody thought we were such a good couple. I was super tall. She was super short. I'm white. She's black. I'm super shy. She's super outgoing. It was just polar opposites every way you look at it. But it was a good experience though. Um, yeah, yeah. Both comments are true there. Um, but she ended up, I tried to get her back. Um, I told her, hey, I'll do whatever you want me to do, whatever, and she was um, very rude to me afterwards, didn't want me back, would holler at me all the time in the hallway, kind of started bullying me really in front of my friends and stuff. And just to try to get me to leave her alone, I guess. I don't know. But that was a hard lesson learned about moving on, just because somebody breaks up with you don't mean you always get her back. And so that was kind of my first time in realizing that. And you know, but eventually in the 11th grade, she did want me back. She did try to get back with me, but I was already with my ex-wife at the time. We were dating, and but she was like, hey, I think I'm gonna take you up on that offer. I think we should try dating again. And I was like, nah, I already got somebody that's treating me a little bit better than you did. Not much better. I'm not gonna say she treated me so much better, because if she did, we would be together today. It would treat me like shit too, but did a little bit better than Caitlin did. But also during that time, remember that girl I was telling you about in the 6th grade, Kirsten, that didn't want me? Well, when I got to like the 10th and 11th grade, she was going to the high school I was going to. And I'm sitting there walking one day, during classes, and I pass this beautiful girl, and I make eye contact with her, and she's just looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and she's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and I'm like, what? Okay. And I'm like, who the hell was that? And I'm like, dude, that's who the doing it? This damn phone, man. Sorry, this freaking connection keeps giving up, keeps rebooting, whatever, reconnecting. Sorry about that. But we're looking at each other, and then it clicks to me. I'm like, that is Kirsten. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? And so all these old feelings I had back in the 6th grade start flooding me again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks even better than she did back then. And she's looking at me now, and I'm looking at her. Hold on. And so eventually, I kind of go up to one of her friends at lunch, this girl that was in a line, and I knew she was going to sit with Kirsten, whatever. I'm like 2 or 3 tables away, and it's got my phone number on it and my name. And I said, hey, that's Kirsten, right? You hang out? She's like, yeah. I said, can you give her this? This is my number. And she just looks at my number. She starts smiling really big. What? You want my friend? I'm like, hell yeah, I want your friend. She's hot, dude. And but I'm like, just give it to her, and she knows who I am. I said, just, I think she wants me. I don't know. Back then she didn't. Now she does. So, I said, I said, I'll be sitting 2 tables away. You can look over and point to me if you want. Say, hey, that guy right there said give you his number. So, I go sit down first. I see this girl come to her table, and she sits down next to Kirsten and she's eating, and I would just keep kind of watching the table over there. I'm like, okay, she's gonna give her the number, or whatever. And then I see her and she's like kind of makes eye contact with me, and then she's like, oh yeah. And I see her, giving her the number, and Kirsten's kind of looking around like, who is this? And she points over to me, and she's pointing at me, and Kirsten hadn't looked at me yet, so I just kind of looked down, and I'm looking around all cool, and I know at that point Kirsten's looking at me, and I look over and I make eye contact with Kirsten, and she's just got this big old smile and covering her mouth and kind of blushing. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, she wants me. I just know, like, yeah, she wants me. I could just tell. And so lunch bell rings, and here comes Kirsten walking my way. I'm like, oh boy, now I'm getting nervous. I'm shy, right? I'm super shy. And she comes over and she's like, if you wanted to give me your number, why didn't you just give it to me yourself? And I was like, well, I don't know. I didn't know if you would accept it. Of course, we're all afraid of rejection, whatever. And she's like, you got to get over that. And she's like, you could have just gave it to me yourself. And I was like, all right, well, can I have your number? And she gives me hers. And then we really, like, this girl rejected me in the 6th grade so many times. And now she is calling me every night. We're talking on the phone for 4 or 5 hours till like 1 o'clock in the morning. We talked for about 4 months straight. We had so much in common. Turns out she had moved back to my hometown, was living in my neighborhood, and I didn't even know it because she didn't ride the bus. Her mom picked her up from school. I did not know how close she was. She lived right down the street next to my friend Justin. Many of y'all know Justin. She was 3 houses down from Justin. And looking back, it's just so funny. Everything's so messed up. But we're on the phone every night. We're talking about, man, we should hang out and this and that. I'm like, well, I don't have a car though. I don't know how am I going to get to you? And I could have walked to her house in less than 5 minutes. I just never asked, where do you live? But, so we're talking every night, right? And we find out that both of our favorite movies at the time is a Temptations movie. I really like Temptations. And so one day around Christmas, actually, probably on this day, I asked her, I was like, so, we've been talking for 3 or 4 months. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, we got a lot in common. And I was like, I really like you. I think you're beautiful, Kirsten. I thought you were beautiful back then. I thought you were beautiful now. And she's like, well, I think you're really handsome. And I was just like, all right. So I said, I think we should make this a thing. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I think that we should go out. Do you want to go out with me? And she was like, go out with you? I said, yeah, you want to make this a thing? And then she's like, no. And I'm like, what? And she's like, no, I don't see you in that way. She's like, I just think you're a really good friend. And I was like, you're kidding me. And she's like, no. And I was like, really? Like, we talk on the phone till like 1 a.m. every night. And we were making this eye contact in the hallway and like, got your number. And she's like, okay, we're just friends. And I was kind of heartbroken again. I was like, wow, dude, like, what is the deal with me that nobody wants to date me? And, so that's what she did to me. And that would not be the first or the second time that happened to me from her. Many years later, after we are out of high school, she reaches out to me and basically she's professing her love for me at this point. We're like in our early 20s, 24, 25, and I had just gone through a divorce, and she's like, messaged me on Facebook. She's like, "Hey Joe, this and that. Sorry for how I did you in the past. I think maybe we could try again. Maybe." And she was like, "I'm just so tired of being hurt by men. I'm looking for something real." That's how she put it. "I'm looking for something real." And she's like, "Maybe we could go on a date." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Third time around, let's see if it works." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I still think you're beautiful, whatever." And I didn't have a car at the time, and I told her that. I'm like, "Look, I just lost everything, went through a divorce, whatever." And she's like, "All right, that's fine, not a problem." And she's like, "I'll come pick you up. Let's go on a date." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And I'm like, "What time? Whatever. I'll be there 7 o'clock Friday night. I'm gonna pick you up. We're gonna go here. Be ready." And I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm like, "So finally, dude, finally, as an adult, I'm gonna get to date this girl." So, Friday night comes, I'm all excited, looking good. I got this new cologne, new clothes, all this stuff, looking nice for her, and I'm just so excited. 7 o'clock comes, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:45, and I'm messaging her. I'm like, "Hey, is everything all right? We're supposed to have this date. Like, what happened?" And finally, the next day, I get a message from her, and she says, "I'm so sorry, Joe. My sister called me last night, and I had to go to her house, had an emergency, this and that. Can't really go into detail. It was an emergency. I'm so sorry. Can we reschedule for next Friday, same time?" I'm like, "Okay, well, things happen. That's okay. Sure." So next Friday comes around. I do the same routine. Do my hair, put on some cologne, nice clothes again. I'm excited. Beard's on point. Everything's looking perfect. Ready to go on this date. This point I've saved even more money up so we can go somewhere really nice and I can really show her a good time. 7 o'clock comes around, and before this happened, I text her. I said, "Are we still good for tonight?" She's like, "Yes, absolutely, Joe. Can't wait to see you." I'm like, "All right, cool." So there's no problem. She already verified 2 hours before. Yes, I'll be there. 7 o'clock comes, 7:30, 8:45, 9:30. And I'm like texting her. I'm like, "Dude," I'm like, "Kirsten, like, what's going on? Like, are you still coming? Are we still doing this? What's going on?" And I'm outside, like, waiting on her at 7. From like 7 to 8, I am waiting because I'm just so excited to date this girl. I've wanted her my whole life. And no response. The next morning, I get a message, and all it says is, "I'm sorry, Joe, ... And that was the last time I ever spoke to her. Now, she's still on my Facebook, but that was the fourth time she had done me wrong in my life. And I just kind of made the decision, like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore, you know? And, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like maybe she thought, I don't know what she thought, but this is what I think she thought. I think that she was way, way more wealthy than me. And she kind of looked at me like I was a loser because I didn't have a car at the time. I'm just a construction worker. She was had her own business as we call it like a hairstylist, stuff like that. So, she was making way more money than me, and worked for herself and lived in a much higher end city than me. And um so I think that's just kind of what that led to. I was pretty much a loser in her eyes, and maybe she was just desperate the first time, wanting to hang out with somebody, and then just like, you know what, nah. So that's kind of how I took that. So that kind of hurt a lot at the time. I just went through a divorce. I'm just trying to pick myself back up, and then you get done, like that again by this girl you wanted in school. So yeah, maybe I'll make a formal video of that, because I think I should, you know excuse me. But I like to make these high school videos about who I dated and stuff like that, and how things worked out. Kind of how this is a country song in the making. Yeah. you know but yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad, but it is what it is. um and then I went on to find Alicia. And me and Alicia, many of y'all know Alicia. She works for me to this day. um we started going out and was getting along good, and then I started drinking a lot, and I turned into someone that was not a very good person, and she broke up with me, which now looking back, I completely understand and completely 100% support that she did, because I was not respecting her the way I should have as my girlfriend. And that's why I know how these men can be, because I was these type of men at one point in time, and I have changed. And that's why I know a lot of these guys' tactics. I know how these guys can be. I know what they're thinking. I know what they're doing to women. And that's why I try to warn women these days. And there's a lot of women in my personal life I have warned that don't listen to me, and they end up getting burned. They end up getting hurt. And they come back and they're like, man, I should listen to you. I'm like, I told you. Like, I know how these men think. I used to be one of these people, you know? And the sad part of it is, like, a lot of good men used to be bad men, but they changed. But there's so many men that are still bad men that will never change. Exactly. I grew. There's so many men in this world that will never change, that don't want to grow up, that don't want to treat women with respect, that will still call a woman a bitch, a hoe, a whore. you know. Um, and I've told y'all many times, I had a guy reach out to me because, I was helping his girlfriend, and he reaches out to me and says, hey, stop talking to my bitch. And so I showed her this message. I said, look, this is how this person refers to you behind your back. I said, do you really want to stay with someone that refers to you as his bitch? And unfortunately, she stayed with him. And she's with him to this day. And that was about 4 years ago. And she has since been beaten many, many times by him, put in the hospital by him. And there's nothing I can do for her, because she doesn't want to help herself. Because if she did, she would leave him. She had plenty of opportunities to leave him, but won't. And, that's what I'm saying. If you are in a relationship, if you are in a marriage, in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, whatever it may be, and your dude, your husband, is beating you, calling you a bitch, a whore, all these names, a hoe, leave his sorry ass. You deserve better than that. Leave him. Do you know that in the Old Testament, the Bible said if a husband was unloving, that was grounds for divorce? Yeah, that's in the Bible. That was a reason to divorce your husband if he was unloving. I hope so, man. I really hope so, and you know, and that's just kind of where I've had to just accept the fact that I can't help everyone, that everyone is not going to listen to me, and I'm just thankful for the ones who do listen to me, who watch this channel, who, you know, the very just like I tell my daughter, the very first time that a man puts his hands on you, you got to leave him. That's something that is not forgivable in a relationship. You can forgive him because, uh, you want to forgive that person because if you don't forgive, God won't forgive you. Sure, you can forgive him, but that does not mean you got to stay in a relationship with him. You know, forgive him and get rid of him. Forgiveness doesn't mean take him back and let him do it again and again and again and again. That's not what that means. You know, that ain't what that means at all. Hey, 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 what's going on? Good to see you too. But I mean, yeah. Well, thank you. you know, but uh but I just want to say again, sometimes people in my personal life or whatever will tell me, you got to stop. You got to stop making these videos about black women. And I've had a lot of people on YouTube telling me to stop, a lot of close friends over the years tell me to stop. And every time I have stopped, it has hurt my channel so bad it's not even funny. I wish I would have never listened to the first person that told me that, because how many people have I missed out on the chance to tell numerous things, a few things this channel is about. Yes, it is obviously about black women, you know, about respecting black women, loving black women, protecting black women, all these things, promoting black women, promoting black businesses, stuff like that. Because I don't feel that there are enough people, white or black men, that do this. Let me make that very clear. There is not enough black men or white men promoting black women's protection, love, guidance, businesses, all that type of stuff. There is not. You know, I am one of very few. And people in the beginning when I first made this channel, we kind of started taking off when one of these videos went viral titled "Why I Prefer Black Women." I was just kind of going into detail about why I prefer black women, because that was a common question that people would ask me. And I don't know, it's probably about an 8-year-old video now, but it took about 4 years to go viral or whatever, to even get any traction. And with viral, the channel was growing tremendously by the days, just 10,000 subscribers, in like a week. And somebody's like, okay, you got to change the channel up. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, you got to stop talking about black women so much, or, people are going to get irritated with that. They're going to get mad. I was like, well, why would they do that? Well, because it's called pandering, and people don't want you pandering to black women. And so I stopped, and I said, oh, okay, I guess maybe I should do something else then. So I started doing like a lot of different videos, and I, you know, um, just a lot of different stuff that had nothing to do with anything really. I started doing cooking videos. I started doing comedy skits. And I just really tried to stay away from black women videos as much as I could. Well, what that did was made me lose a ton of subscribers, and my subscribers stopped climbing, right? And that was a terrible move to make because, number one, people were coming to the channel because they liked what I was talking about. They liked how I stood up for black women. They liked what I was talking about, protecting black women and promoting black women, all these things. And then when I started veering off of that, they're like, oh, okay, well, did you just make this video to go viral? Was that all this was? So they started unsubscribing, and, and it made me look really bad because I didn't follow what I knew was right, and I've just kind of learned from that, I got to follow what God has put on my heart, regardless of what other people think, regardless of what other people say. I've learned to not listen to what others say, you know. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you for asking. Yes, I am happily married now. It's my second marriage. But I just learned that I got to stay the course. My thing is this channel. My thing is talking about black women, loving black women. And that will never, ever, 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 ever stop. I was literally put on this earth to do that. And doing this channel is one of the callings I have, one of the things that God has given me, one of the gifts God has given me. This platform, I see it as a gift that God has given me, and so, it was just terrible advice to stop doing that because they say it's pandering to black women. Well, my question is, what if I have a channel that is about lifted trucks? Is someone going to tell me, hey man, you got to stop making videos about lifted trucks because people are going to get tired of that stuff? I'm like, well, what do you mean? The channel is titled Lifted Trucks. Yeah, it may be titled that. It may even have a picture of a lifted truck, but come on, dude, you're pandering to lifted trucks. People don't want to hear that all the time. They're going to get mad, and it's just going to go wrong for you. So this person that made a video about lifted truck, or a channel about lifted trucks, now he starts making videos about pizza. Well, guess what's going to happen? Everybody's going to start unsubscribing because they're like, man, I subscribed for this reason because I wanted more of lifted trucks. Now you're talking about something completely different because somebody told you to stop doing this. So you see what I mean? Exactly. Daphne's right. All channels are pandering to something. That's what YouTube is about. Like, if you don't like what I'm saying, keep it moving. You don't have to watch the channel. Change the channel. So that's so that is some of the worst advice I've ever gotten from people, is to stop talking about black women on my channel. So, and when I get told that, it makes me want to talk about black women even more because I know what I've learned is when people start telling me to stop doing this, that means I'm going in the right direction. That's just what I've learned. I've been told, stop saying you love black women. I will never stop saying that. I genuinely love black women. People go, well, that means you want to have sex with every black woman you see. That's not what that phrase means. What that phrase means is I genuinely care for every black woman I see and come in contact with. I care. I care about every single black woman. I care even if I don't know you. I care that you are being treated right by your husband, by your boyfriend, by your neighbor, by a stranger. That's what love means. Caring. Jesus said, love your neighbor. That doesn't mean I want to have sex with every neighbor. It's not a sexual thing. It's a caring thing. It's a genuine love for other people, for people that I see have been done wrong, have been less fortunate, you know. I think that all men should love black women. We should show that love more. That's what we got to do. So that's what that phrase means. That doesn't mean that I want to date every black woman I see. That doesn't mean I want to marry every black woman I see. People take that out of context. If I wanted to do all that, I would say that. I'm very careful with my words. Oh man, I sure haven't. I always forget. I sure haven't. Living for you. I gotta look that. I gotta. Well, I do have it written down, but yes, I do need to look that song up. I always forget every time. But you know, if they don't care for the content or channel, then stop. Waste their time coming to your channel to complain. They should take their negativity somewhere else. That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And I would try to sing tonight, but my voice is pretty strained. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow if I go live tomorrow. Well, I don't know if I'm going live tomorrow. I gotta work. With Christmas coming up and stuff. It's pretty tight right now. Trying to pull things together. It's tough. You know what I mean? But I mean, but I'm gonna be making some videos. Gonna be making some videos because y'all deserve it. Just like Brent, just like Brent always says, Roadrunner 89. Y'all know Brent. Like he says, he who finds a black wife finds a treasure. Finds a treasure. He's always saying that. He found Sandy, and that's his treasure. And he's right. Black women are a treasure. And he will never stop preaching that. Doesn't matter. You cannot shut him up. And more power to him. I am proud of that. I'm proud that there is a white man out here loving his wife the way he does and promoting her. Excuse me. Promoting her, promoting other black women. He is promoting swirling, that's his thing. So, he's into the, I believe they call it the divestment. I don't really talk much on that. I'm not, that's not what this channel is about. This channel is more about, I don't care if you're a black man or a white man, I just want you to see the value in black women. If you're all about black love, that's awesome. I'm all for it. If you're all about interracial love, that's great. I'm all for it. Either way, no matter what you choose, just find a man that respects you. I am begging you, please respect yourself enough that if a man lays his hands on you in any wrong way, please leave him. Joe Vitamins. I like that. We miss you, Joe. Glad that you and Brent are still friends. I like both of your channels. And thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm going to try to stay more consistent with it, because there's just so much that needs to be said. I mean, and I can't even think of everything right now, but I just want y'all to know you are beautiful. Black women are some of the most talented women, talented, gifted, beautiful women that God has ever created. And don't you ever let anyone lie to you and say you're not. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I see it. I see you. Young black women, I see you. Elderly black women, I see you. Middle-aged black women, I see you. I see your beauty. I see your shine. Many other men see it as well. Know that you are beautiful. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are honored. Because many, many men out here know that, and they are eagerly awaiting the chance to be with you. They are eagerly awaiting the chance to treat you like a princess that you are. Don't you ever settle for someone that treats you less than that. You are royalty. Y'all are queens. And it's crazy that some of these men have the audacity to come in here and tell me that I am fake. I'm fake. That all you want to do is have sex with black women. Really, dude? I'm married. If that's all I wanted, why would I be married? It'd be very easy to stay single and mingle, and be on all these websites, and I don't do all that. I am here every night with my wife, and she can attest to that. That's not what I want. What I want is for you personally, to find the man of your dreams. I don't want you to waste one day with some coward that calls you a bitch, a hoe, refers to you as that. You don't deserve that. They don't deserve anybody. Any boy that refers to a woman like that, they don't deserve a woman, because they're still a boy. Only a real man deserves a woman like you. And trust me, I've heard some shit. I've seen it. I've heard it. I've heard it all. I've seen women going through it. I've had so many women reach out to me in my email, just to vent to me and tell me what they're going through. And I hate to see it. And I pray for all black women that are dealing with this. It's terrible. And I just want you to know you're worthy of love. You're absolutely worthy of love. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that. I don't know if anyone's told you that lately. But you're beautiful. I see you. You are a treasure. And this channel is all about love. There's been people that come in here trying to start crap with women. There's been people that have claimed to be good men that have harassed women from this channel. And I have blocked them. I have taken care of it. I have reached out to these so-called men myself personally. I've talked to many of them on the phone. I've gotten their phone numbers and called them to set them straight. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful because the way that the world has painted the modern black woman sometimes is not good. You know, um, there's a lot of stereotypes towards black women that are not true. Definitely not true. And I want everyone to know that. I want everyone to know, every man that is watching, I want you to know that black women are just like every other woman. They deserve love and protection, just like every other woman. They don't deserve anything less. And if you are thinking about giving them anything less, you have no business trying to date a black woman. Absolutely none. If your intentions are anything less than treating them like royalty, like you would any other woman, you have absolutely no business dating one. And I cannot tell you how much it pisses me off when I see other white guys, I'm not going to call them men, other white guys, boys, let's call them white boys, other white boys. I see it all the time where they say, oh, black women are only good for one thing. I'd never marry one, though. I'd never have a kid with one, though. But I'll blank one. Do you know how much that makes my freaking blood boil? And I've said this so many times, as if black women are your sexual experiment. How blinking dare you think of black women as that? To all you boys who think that, I hope you never get the chance. I hope every woman in this live stream and watching even after this live is over, I pray that God gives you the wisdom and the discretion to know if there is a man that is trying to use you for that. I hope God gives you the discernment to see the wolves in sheep's clothing. Because yes, it is hard to tell who's real and who's fake, but I pray right now in the name of Jesus for discretion, for discernment, that y'all's bodies, minds, souls, and hearts would be protected from those sent by Satan to use you for your bodies. I pray protection over each and every one of you. I pray discernment for each and every one of you, the gift of discernment and wisdom and protection in the name of Jesus. Amen. As it's a shame, man. It's a shame when you turn on the TV and there's another black woman missing. It's another murder that goes unsolved. It's another black woman who was found in a creek, in a river, and she's been sexually assaulted is all they know, but they don't know who did it. Tired of seeing that, man. And did you know that black women are the number one in America that happens to, that are kidnapped, and that they usually label a black girl that comes up missing as a runaway. Yeah. When is America going to change? Pray for America. And if you're a man, pray for black women. And if you are a black woman, pray for your sisters. Because we need a move of God in this country. We need a move of God in this world. If nobody will say it, I will say it. We need a move of God. We need God's protection to sweep this nation. We need a move of God. That every person that is guilty of that sin would be convicted by God himself to turn themselves in, confess to their crimes, pay for their sins. And we need every person that is running from that the long arm of the law would come down on them, that God would expose the evil in this country, in this world, that they would be brought to justice and to sentencing, that they will not get away with the crimes they have committed. I pray that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. I pray a prayer of protection over each and everyone watching right now. And even if you're watching right now and this live streams even is already over, Lord, bless them, protect them too. I pray a supernatural blessing over every woman watching this right now, Lord, in America, across this nation, around the world, Lord. Bless them, keep them, protect them, make your face to shine upon them, and give them your grace. In Jesus' name, amen. That's right, Psalm 91. But I think that's all I have to say tonight, y'all. I know it's getting kind of late, but just want to thank y'all for joining in. I see we got 15 people watching. We got 12 likes. So if you're watching still, make sure you hit that like button. Got 16 people watching here. Please hit that like button. Very welcome. Love you too. Love you too. Hey, thanks for stopping by and checking out the Cup of Joe show. I'm glad you tuned in tonight. Make sure you tune in next time, because hopefully next time we'll be doing some music. We'll be doing some songs and stuff, and that'll be fun. Not a problem. Not a problem. Thanks for stopping by. We got 13 likes, 16 people watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Anyone that hasn't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Thank you so much. Thank you. But anyways, y'all, love y'all. Thanks for welcoming me back. Let's see. That's right. That's right. Merry Christmas to you as well. And if you don't see me by Christmas, which I'm sure y'all will, but if you don't, sometimes this channel is a little unpredictable. If you don't see me by Christmas, Merry Christmas, y'all. I hope y'all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And life is great. Merry Christmas to you too. But until next time, y'all, I'm Joe Jones. This is the Cup of Joe show. And this right here has just been y'all's daily dosage. Prayers for that. That's tough. Prayers. Love y'all. Good night, everybody. Stay safe out there.